So, people always tell us, like, not everyone's gonna like you. It's not always a reflection of you. It's a reflection of them and whatnot. But nobody tells you that you're not gonna like everybody too. Like, you're also a part of that. And it's not just gonna be people you meet in passing. Sometimes it's gonna be people you try to have a whole house relationship with. And sometimes whenever you start to dislike them, you're in denial about disliking them because you love them, but you don't like them. And unfortunately, no type of relationship can work with no boundaries, And when you don't know what your boundaries are, that happens a lot when you're young, I think. Some people, they grew up with people who taught them well. They had good role models. And they just make it work. Or some people didn't have good role models, but they meet somebody. And that person kind of is like, I feel like if you're raised in a shitty environment, you always need an example of a healthy person to then, learn how to become healthy, because you can't expect a baby to just unlearn all this, like, toxic behavior from their only person, or, like, having, like, fear and unsafe relationships because the baby's used to that. And I'm not saying, like, I'm a baby. I'm just saying, like, for real, because we build our attachment styles whenever we're an infant, and then they, like, develop as we get older. But it's totally possible to become a secure person, even when you were raised by shitty people. You're not destined to be fucked up. I think your brain is a really powerful part in this. Like, you have to believe in yourself, But it's also important that you have boundaries, and learn what your boundaries are. And some people, I hear them say, like, I don't know what my boundaries are. Like, start very simple, like, that you like Sundays to yourself. You like to dress privately. You like to, like, just simple. And then just start asserting those. And remember, like, for me, even with Dream, I love him. He's cute. He is not a statue in Egypt. I'm not gonna bow down to his every beck and call. This morning I got out of the shower. He's instantly meowing at me. I let him in my room. He's all, like, active, he wants attention. I'm not wearing clothes. I'm not ready. He's meowing to leave. I'm like, okay, you could go, but I'm not walking with you to the front door to let you out at 6 a.m. You need to come here around 8 a.m. whenever I'm wearing clothes. I close the door on him and I tell myself, because it hurts me to do that to a kitty. Well, less now, but in the beginning, even to a kitty, it was hard for me to have boundaries. That's horrible. But it was, And I tell myself whenever I choose that, because, Dream, he gets pissed off for a second, but then he forgets. He walks upstairs, he asks someone else, Or he comes back to me a few hours later and I do it anyways, But I always tell myself, like, or I don't, depends on where I am and how I feel. I tell myself, like, boundaries create a functioning, well, relationship, like, you just need to be able to respect each other. And when somebody is so open-minded and so down for anything, it's easy to take them for granted and lose respect for them. And also, if you are so open-minded, so forgiving, you tend to get treated like shit a lot more, And I've experienced being both parts. I've experienced being taken advantage of and taking advantage of somebody's kindness, you know what I mean? Because it's easy to do, especially whenever, and it's possible, like, that you're also, like, I know I said this whole part about attachment styles and you being in the household, but also it's possible that you're raised in, like, a seemingly perfect place and you also struggle with setting boundaries and feeling safe in relationships, People are all different, it's very, like, there are just, I don't know, I feel like we walk the path we walk on for a reason, and so, like, everyone's different because that's how they want to be, And another thing I realized is, like, I would try to mold, because I was so used to people or relationships failing me and becoming evil, I would try to mold them to be something they were not, like, the relationship, the person, because I didn't want them to be, like, I was just afraid to let go. And I hate that, I missed out on encouraging people to become who they truly are. I stunted growth. I stunted myself throughout that, and, like, that's why I just say, like, any karma I've faced, I truly am just, I'm honestly at this point graceful to take it, because, I should have been a better friend to the people in my life, and it's gonna be my biggest regret forever, But also, I can't just stew in the fact, because Sometimes I just don't like people, and sometimes people just don't like me, and sometimes people bring out the worst in each other. And it's weird how sometimes the people most like you are the people you most don't like. You know, I heard this phrase that you can only dislike what you see in a person that you see in yourself, you know, and I don't know. You know, because sometimes I dislike a person for some shit. I'm like, I ain't that, dog. But at the same time, I feel like I can always circle it back, no matter what it is, and be like, yeah. Because we're all human, and I don't truly put anyone on a pedestal. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I put somebody on a pedestal last night. Who was it? Who was it? Hailey Bieber. I love her Instagram post. She's so beautiful. You know, I did put her on a pedestal. You know. One second, I need a cough. But it's so important that we, like, remember that, like, you know, every person kind of sucks, you know. But also, once we accept that every person kind of sucks, then we can really start to see who they are. And their good qualities kind of can shine so much more. You know, and that's why I love authors. Because you never really can learn that much about an author. But in their books, you're like, holy smokes and crap. You know, like, I just think of Donna Tartt because that's my favorite author. And she's just so, like, in her, like, the way that she is able to analyze human behavior. You know, I'm just, like, you know, because I always think I'm, like, I don't, you know, awake people, like, really awake people who pay attention to a lot of details, like authors and stuff, they're so quiet, you know? And so I always think that I live on Earth with people who don't pick up on things, or, and obviously I know that's not true, but, you know, like, I never really meet people who, like, pick up on small details or, like, care a lot about human behavior, you know? Like, I know everyone likes psychology to an extent, but, like, I don't know how to explain it. It's just in a way that a lot of authors do, you know? And honestly, you're kind of insane for writing a book. Like, you really just created this whole scenario in your head and wrote it down? I mean, I love that. The dedication, the discipline, the work, the vision. Wow. So much respect. So much respect. You know, and sometimes I read a book, I'm like, dude, this sounds like a straight screenplay. Like, it's not, but it's like, this is a good movie in my head right now. You know, and I was talking to ChatGPT one time about why do I hate movies, a topic no one gives a fuck about, but I'm so fascinated by for some reason, because I hate watching movies. But then chat said, like, there's people who like to see and there's people who like to visualize more, and I totally am. I just am a mental masturbator, guys. I just love thinking. It's actually, like, I used to get told a lot as a kid, like, Sierra, you think too much. For the worst. You're ruining your own life thinking and thinking and thinking. And it would make me so defensive because I love to think. But I'd be like, you're right. I am ruining my life. But now I'm like, you ruin your life till you think so much yourself into peace. Okay, this is dumb. A video of, yeah, and I regret making that video where I'm like, how to, like, win a person in a date. Because I'm an advocate of be yourself, and I know some people are like, be anything but yourself. The fuck? That's gonna be sustaining, right? That's long term. Oh no, hopefully my real stuff doesn't slip out when we're married for 10 years. Anyways, I regret making that video because I feel like, you know, that day I was so anti-complaining, but both of my videos that day were just me complaining. You know, it's just like, you know, honestly, I take it back. Do the pants sag. Do it. Do it because you do it and because it's who you are. Don't stop just because I said on a YouTube video that you had to let it go. I regret that video. Bye.